As you saw in the video before, coffee was only coming out through one of these tips. This is caused by coffee grinds actually passing the filters and blocking up all this section over the years. In severe cases, the coffee grinds block it up enough so that all this is a canister, fills up with coffee, and the coffee will start pouring inside the machine. Could damage electricals and pouring coffee on your bench and other than these two nozzles. The best way how to deal with this is the first way but not the best, is grabbing a little screwdriver and poking up through the ends. This will free up most of the gunk inside the nozzles, allowing the flow to go through. But yet there's still a lot of gunk in here, fairly unhygienic, and letting it cause again. Second option is to open this up. It takes a bit of time and you might not feel comfortable doing it, but pulling it apart and actually scooping out the gunk inside here. It still leaves the issue with cleaning out most of the hoses. Most of them are fairly easy to clean, but you can't get to a lot of the hoses on the side, the boiler makers and all that. It just takes too long to get to and too difficult. So that's when a coffee cleaner comes in real handy. Now I've used plenty of coffee cleaners over the time. This one I found works the best. Cleans the quickest, the fastest, and obviously the safest. You can't just dump any chemical into a coffee machine and it cleans it, but it's not too safe to drink coffee afterwards. So this one here, you can find it in the link below. Now, so what we want to do is, say as an example, my coffee machine is filled up with gunk in here, which it is. Using a coffee cleaner will take quite a few cycles to go through, and it still might not collect everything because it's dried up and gone hard over the time. So what we're going to do is pull it apart and physically scoop out all the gunk out with a spoon. Now if your coffee machine doesn't look like this, most coffee machines have very similar internals. So keep watching. There might be a couple screws that might be different to yours, but you'll get the gist of it. So first we're going to do is turn this coffee machine apart around. Oh, you can lift that up and take out the filters, the captures and that. Pop them aside. I'll be showing you exactly how the coffee cleaner works. I'm going to have it fully opened up so you guys can see exactly how it works. Water holder. You'll see it running through the lines and cleaning the lines. Now this coffee machine isn't that old, so I don't expect the lines to be that dirty yet, but that front section is extremely dirty. Now, these are specialised screws at the back. I've already removed 3 of them, but I've left one in. You need a special tool to take these off, but I've left that at home, so what I'm going to use is this pair of pliers. Now if you grip onto these screws fairly tight and twist it, they'll come free. Now you got to be careful you don't scratch the casing when you're using a pair of pliers. A pair of pliers like these don't really work that well with these, but once it's free you can sort of grip onto them and twirl it around like that, and then use your fingers and take them off. Okay, now there's usually 4 of them, or if you've got a different model. The top casing comes off after you remove 2 screws on the top, one here and one on the other side. So remove them. This is a T15. They're European design, these little hex screws, so they're always fun to take off. 2 of them, remember? Okay, now the casing, the top casing can come off very slowly. Just wiggle that free. Okay. Also these covers here, family's a bit rough with these. This is a household coffee machine. As you see, it's broken. If you want to replace these, you can get them off a link as well down the bottom. See these? You can pop them out. It's much easier to take them off when it's actually off. If you try and pull them off with it on, you won't be able to pull these off without snapping them again, so you can just clip them back on and replace them if you need to. Okay, side panels. Don't recommend taking them off. They're a little tricky taking off, but if you need to, take them off. In this case I will show you how to take them off. What you need to do is slide them back. They clip onto the front. Next one. It's two little clips down the bottom, a little pain, put your finger down there and push across, like that. See it slowly pop off. Now, a lot of leaks are also caused by corrosion of some of these parts. Just remove them, replace them, and then you're good to go. These hoses are fairly good. Seals, these round cylinder seals, like these ones, need replacing every so often. So if you got a leak, just replace the seals, much cheaper. And that thing in there needs replacing, it gets rusted up around the side. Okay. Examples like this. These hoses, they look clean, they might have a bit of gunk built up in them over the years. Coffee cleaner will clean all that out. So, but in bits like this where it's extremely hard to get to, that create the steam, this blocks up inside because obviously heat and that causes a bit of blockages there. So coffee cleaner works good in there. Now, I'll spin the front around. You guys can have a look at the front. One big screw at the top here. Some models don't have the screw here, but some do. So just remove that one screw, like that. So it's good to have a little container, put all your screws in. Usually all the black screws are, or brown screws are for external, and all the silver ones are internal. Okay, now this cover here is almost free to take off. You've got two little more hex screws down the bottom and two little holes. So undo them. And one more down on this side. They might not pop out, but they're undone. Okay, now what you want to do is, you might have clips, you might not, but down here, down the bottom, as you guys can't see there, but here you can. There might be some clips down here that you can unclip and the bottom will pop off, like so. And we'll spin it around. Easiest way to take this front cover off is, some you just undo the front and you can spin it around. This one here, you need to remove these power clips. Quick recess, because it took me a little longer to take these three clips off. You don't want to be yanking on the wires, so take your time, unclip them properly. Then the front is free to move off. So what we'll do is we'll spin this around. Okay. Now this might be a bit confronting for most people and see a lot of hoses and wires everywhere. Don't freak out, it's fairly simple and you don't need to know pretty much anything apart from hoses. If a hose is leaking somewhere, you take it off, replace the little washer in it or the hose itself. If it looks like it's blocked with something in it, take it off, unblock it. Now this is the part that we're after in here. Now it's been held in with 6 screws, so we undo the 6. This can be a little tricky to come up. You pull it out. Sometimes it doesn't like to cooperate, so pull that down. Wiggle that free, that twists down, and that can pop out through the bottom. Okay, so this I'm expecting to be filled with gunk. There's a little clip here that you can unclip. Slide that part out. Yeah. Now, warning to people, this might disgust most people, but this is what you're drinking out of. And this has probably been sitting in there for quite a long time. As I can see, one side is completely blocked off with gunk in there, and the other side is just free to pour coffee out through there. Now this is what happens when this completely blocks up. This little thing fills up and pours out coffee. Could even go into your electricals and damage your coffee machine. So when you see it blocked up, you clean it. Now what I'm going to do is, if I was you at this stage, I'd clean this out, I'd scoop it out as much as you can and wash it through the wash, and that will fix your problem.